Welcome. Thank you for watching this short video, which is an introduction to ATI's Inter-Rater Reliability Professional Development Series. We will be covering a brief outline of the ATI Inter-Rater Reliability course, including Module 1 and Module 2. I will also provide a demonstration of the online interface for the course. Then I will give you brief instructions for registration. The purpose of the Inter-Rater Reliability Professional Development Series is to present a standard of best practices in observational assessment, which provides consistency in observational assessment and supports an understanding of the Galileo G3 Assessment Scale goals, leading to an increase in accuracy and reliability. Module 1 is titled Best Practices in Observational Assessment. This module provides a basic framework for observational assessment and introduces techniques for implementing assessments in the classroom. Module 2 is entitled Unpacking the Galileo G3 Assessment Scales for 3 to 5-year-olds. This module includes one component for each of the 12 domains of knowledge areas represented in the Galileo G3 Assessment Scale. Unpacking the goals included in the given domain helps support you in developing an in-depth understanding of each goal as well as the foundational concepts for the given domain. Each module and its components consist of assignments called dialogues. The assignments are provided in an online format similar to a PowerPoint presentation. Sample test questions are provided for review throughout the assignments, with a final test at the end of each assignment. Module 2 assignments, for example, are based on each knowledge area within the domain. The example presented on the screen is for the Approaches to Learning component. This component includes 5 total assignments. Each assignment is similar to a PowerPoint presentation presented online. There is one dialogue associated with an introduction to the Approaches to Learning domain. Then there is one dialogue for each knowledge area in the Approaches to Learning scale. As we can see here, there are 4 knowledge areas: taking initiative, developing creativity, goal setting and planning, and learning cooperation. Each of these include a PowerPoint-like dialogue with test questions at the end. To complete this component, a participant would work through each of these dialogues and complete the assessment at the end of the dialogue. CEUs are awarded for any module or component that a participant completes. Module 1 is estimated to take 1.5 hours to complete and therefore is worth 0.15 CEUs. 10 clock hours equals 1 CEU credit. For example, the Approaches to Learning component of Module 2 is also estimated to take 1.5 hours to complete and would be awarded 0.15 CEUs. As a participant, if you were to complete Module 1 and all of the components in Module 2, you would earn 2.55 CEUs. In addition, as a participant works through each component of Module 2, and if they earn an average of 80% in all the final tests associated with each assignment within a specific domain, they will earn an expert certificate from ATI in that domain. As an example, if someone were to work through all of the Approaches to Learning assignments and earn an average of 80% on all of the final tests, the participant would earn an Approaches to Learning expert certificate from ATI. The ATI Inter-Rater Reliability Professional Development Series is accessed from the Galileo K-12 Student Parent Center. I'll now move over into that online interface and give you a demonstration on how a participant moves through the course assignments. You'll begin at the same Assessment Technology homepage where you log in to access your Galileo Pre-K online account. Instead of logging in here for Galileo Pre-K, you'll be logging in to the Galileo K-12 Student Parents Center to access the Inter-Rater Reliability course. You'll log in using the login information provided to you when you registered for this course. You are brought to the Launchpad page of the K-12 Student Parent Center. Let me give you a quick tour. First, in the upper left-hand corner, we see our class information. If your agency purchases individual registrations, the registrant will be registered in classes that are named for the quarter that they will be working through. If your agency purchases a site license, the class name will be the agency name. We can see from the calendar tile that this participant is registered for Best Practices in Observational Assessment, which is Module 1, and for Early Math component of Module 2. Module 2 components have multiple assignments. Associated with each assignment is the due date. Clicking on the Test Results tile, we see the assessment history. We see courses and tests this participant has completed in previous quarters, along with test scores. Test scores are posted at the end of the quarter. Now let's move on to see what a dialogue looks like. First, I'm going to select the Best Practices in Observational Assessment assignment. This assignment is slightly different than the Module 2 assignments, but the structure of the dialogue is the same. We'll look at both of them. Here I see a PowerPoint-like presentation opens immediately. As the participant clicks through, they can read the information presented on the screen. Some dialogue slides include an audio component which provides audio instruction to enhance that which is written on the screen. This is indicated by the small box at the bottom of the screen. The Best Practices in Observational Assessment dialogue also includes video components, where the participant has an opportunity to watch a short video demonstrating a child's behavior. I have the opportunity to answer practice questions associated with the video to ensure that I'm learning the intended information from the assignment. As we move through the dialogue and we get to the end of our dialogue, notice that we have an option to exit the dialogue. Clicking on the Review Exit Dialogue button takes you to a summary page where I'll see all the slides that are associated with the dialogue. I do have the option to start my test. Instead of starting the test here, I'm going to move back to our Launchpad and give you a demonstration of the early math component. I'll demonstrate how to take the final assessment associated with early math, as the assessments are the same in both Observational Assessment module as well as the Module 2 test. The test questions will be geared towards the content of the associated dialogue, but the structure of the multiple choice questions are the same. When first accessing a component in Module 2, you'll begin with the introductory assignment labeled with a 00. After navigating through the introductory assignment, you'll then proceed to the next sequential numbered assignment. In my case, that would be Early Math 01, Counting and Comparing. Once I start that dialogue, you'll see that the structure, once again, there are a couple of slides. There will be one slide for each of the goals. The next slide is a practice slide question related to that goal. Each practice question is exactly the same format as the final test questions you'll be answering at the end of this dialogue. As a participant makes a selection in the practice question, the system will let them know whether they answered the question correctly or incorrectly. When they take the final assessment, the test items are in a similar question format, but there will be no feedback immediately on their answers. The practice questions throughout the dialogue are provided for participants as a practice so they can test their knowledge. After accessing the last slide, click the Review Exit dialog button. You'll see a summary of the dialogue. Click the Start Test button, opens the test. As you can see, the test questions are very similar to those presented throughout the dialogue. The participant has an opportunity to answer the questions and then immediately move to the next question. They move through the entire set of questions. After answering the last question, they'll see a review page where you can see which questions you have answered and which ones have been unanswered. Clicking on the test question number takes you back to that question. Once they're satisfied with their answer choices, click the Exit button. That returns you to the launch pad. Once a participant has completed the test, they are still able to go back and review the materials presented in the dialogue. They are unable to retake the test. In this way, the information stays available to the participants throughout their entire enrollment within the Inter-Rater Reliability Professional Development Series course. Now that we're done taking the tour of the Student Parent Center, I need to transition over to look at the instructional materials provided to the participants as well as the registration instructions. The registration form can be found on the ATI's Pre-K Professional Development page. Completing this form lets ATI know the participant's name, contact information, and which module they'll be completing. Keep in mind, each participant must complete Module 1, a prerequisite, before moving on to any of the Module 2 components. Some agencies may select to have their staff members work through each of the Module 2 components over the course of the year or over a course of multiple quarters. Other agencies may decide to have their staff members work through limited components during the quarter. This is entirely at the discretion of the agency. It is not required for a participant to complete all of the components in Module 2. The only requirement is that they begin with Module 1, the best practices in observational assessment, prior to accessing any of the Module 2 components. When a site license is purchased by the agency for the Inter-Rater Reliability course, ATI can provide the agency with an Excel workbook. This then allows the agency to provide the name, email contact, and the various components in Module 2 for which they would like their staff to complete each quarter. When a participant registers for the Inter-Rater Reliability Professional Development Series, they are provided with two documents. The first one is the course description, which serves as the syllabus for the course. This document includes an introduction to both Module 1 and Module 2, as well as a description of how the course is organized. Included in the syllabus is an outline and a suggested time frame for working through each module. The second document a participant is provided with is the instruction document. This document includes the username and password that the participant will use to log in to the K-12 Student Parent Center. The document does include detailed instructions on working through the course, including screenshots. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about ATI's Inter-Rater Reliability Professional Development Series. Please forward your questions on to your ATI Field Services Coordinator.